Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam,
Dr. Jamal dah masuk.
Ya, ya.
Waalaikumsalam.
Kamera saya kenapa tak boleh on pula dah? Ada on by right. Tapi can you all see my face?
Yes,
Yes,
Doktor.
Okay. Because I'm not familiar with the teams. Shall we start? Not yet. Ah, now I can see. Nik, apa abang Nik?
Alhamdulillah sihat doktor. Ni
Cuaca-
saya apa dia?
Cuaca Dungun je nak, okey?
Petang selalu hujan lah doktor.
Samalah Kedah pun.
Dia siang cantik, sihat, apa panas. Dia dah malam tu, petang, lewat petang dia start hujan lebat.
Yes, exactly like Kedah also lah. Sama lah. Petang dia start.
Itu dah. Doktor, nanti student Dungun dia akan buat intro sikit sebelum doktor start nah.
Sure.
Okey.
Fine dah ni, fine. Fine join tak?
Tak, sebab dia ada kelas.
Okey. 658 siapa di Palam Azian? Fine.
Dr. Zamri.
Oh, Dr. Zamri.
Tapi saya tak invite dia, tak invite dia. Sebabnya sebenarnya tak plan pun nak buat collaboration asalnya kan nak minta tolong Dr. Jamal share je chapter 4 tu. Tapi Cik Fai lah yang suggest. Dia kata alang-alang tu buat je lah. Anak-anak kita nak start pukul berapa ni anak-anak? Dah boleh mula ke anak-anak? Dah pukul 2 dah ni.
Boleh.
Boleh,
Madam.
Boleh nampak tak slide yang saya share tu? Can you see the
nampak
slide? Okay.
Nampak? Cuma doktor unshare dulu sebab dia orang akan buat intro dulu doktor.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Silakan anak-anak.
Perhatian. Sebelum majlis bermula, saya ingin mengingatkan kepada para hadirin untuk memastikan mikrofon anda berada dalam mod senyap. Baiklah. Sekarang kita akan menyanyikan lagu Negaraku dan lagu Wawasan Setia Warga UiTM.
Bersatu kita warga UiTM, kita bangsa perkasa. Taat dan setia untuk negara, beri semangat wajar. Kita jangan mudah terluka, pengorbanan perjuangan anak bangsa. Kita jangan mudah terlena, kemajuan keamanan yang ada. Kita berterima kasih pada pemimpin negara. Kita rasa penuh bersyukur dirahmati kemuliaan harinya. Kami akan pewaris bangsa, kami perawat bangsa Malaysia, kami bangga berbangsa.
Bagi memberkati majlis kita pada hari ini, majlis menjemput saudara Muhammad Amri Nur Azmi untuk memimpin bacaan doa.
Al-Fatihah. Auzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Ya kan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma innaka khallaqul azim, innaka sami'un alim, innaka ghafurur rahim, innaka rabbul arsyil azim, innakal barrul jawadul karim. Sesungguhnya kami berhimpun pada hari ini bagi melahirkan rasa kesyukuran di atas kurniaan-Mu yang tidak ternilai. Jadikanlah kami yang sentiasa bersyukur di atas nikmat yang melimpah ruah kepada kami. Ya Fattahu ya Alim, sesungguhnya Engkau Maha mengetahui bahawa kami di sini ingin menimba ilmu-Mu yang sangat luas bagi mengembangkan potensi kami sebagai hamba-Mu yang Engkau redai. Justru berkati dan rahmatilah program test lecture Continual Quality Improvement. Kurniakanlah kepada kami apa kiranya ilmu-Mu, sinarilah hati-hati kami dengan cahaya dan hidayah-Mu. Semoga dengannya kami mudah menerima dan menghayati serta mengamalkannya. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram, kurniakanlah apa kiranya kepada kami kesihatan anggota, kecergasan minda, ketenangan jiwa, kekuatan semangat. Semoga dengannya kami mampu mendepani cabaran, berdaya saing dan mampu mengangkat martabat diri, keluarga, organisasi, masyarakat dan negara kami. Allahumma ja'alna minan najihin wal faizin wal mumtazin fi kulli imtihan fid din fid dunya wal akhirah. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Yang berusaha Dr. Jamaludin Akbar, yang dihormati para pensyarah serta pelajar-pelajar sekalian. Selamat datang ke program guest lecture Continual Quality Improvement. Sekarang, izinkan saya untuk berkongsi sedikit latar belakang penceramah kita. Dr. Jamaludin Akbar merupakan seorang pensyarah dari UiTM Cawangan Kedah, Kampus Sungai Petani. Beliau pakar dalam kualiti perkhidmatan, pengurusan kualiti menyeluruh, pengurusan rantaian bekalan dan kajian kualitatif. Dr. Jamaludin telah melanjutkan pelajarannya dalam bidang pengajian perniagaan di Institut Teknologi Mara. Kemudian, beliau meneruskan lagi pengajiannya di bawah bidang pengurusan dan perniagaan pada peringkat degree dan master di Universiti Sains Malaysia. Beliau juga telah mendapat gelaran doktor setelah berjaya menamatkan pengajian PhD pengurusan operasi di Universiti Utara Malaysia. Tanpa melengahkan masa lagi, saya serahkan majlis ini kepada penceramah Dr. Jamaludin Akbar bagi sesi perkongsian ilmu berkenaan Continual Quality Improvement. Dipersilakan.
Thank you so much, MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa bitammin bi yadil khair ya karim. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Okay, can you all see the slide that I share? Right, so before that, what time I supposed to stop, MC? What time I supposed to stop? Unmute your mic. Maybe I cannot hear you. You have to unmute your mic, MC. What time I supposed to stop?
4, Doctor.
4 o'clock. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Doctor.
Right, so actually I have 64 slides. Right, so that means I have to cover or spend 2 minutes for each slide. Right, so the lecture probably not very detailed. Right, at least I cover most of the CQI methodology that has been outlined in our syllabus. Right, so if you need the slide, I will share the slide with you all later. Okay, now topic 4 for our course, right, is CQI, Continual Quality Improvement. So this is the lecture outline, right? So I will start with the overview, right? So some introduction about CQI. Then we will go into detail of the CQI methodologies, right? So all these are the CQI methodology, right? So we have PDCA, okay, we have PDCA. Benchmarking is another methodology of CQI. BPR, right? Bumiputra, what is the one of the band yang lama dulu tu, BPR, Bumiputra Rockers ke? No, this is BPR is Business Process Reengineering, right? The third methodology we will cover. And then we will see what is Lean, Six Sigma, and Lean Six Sigma. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the last but not least is QCC. Right, so in this topic, we will cover 7 CQI methodologies. Okay, now let us start with the first one, PDCA. Before that, sorry, overview. Now, CQI, right, is a systematic process of using data to improve services, product, or processes. Right? So we use CQI is actually to improve, okay, or for improvement purpose. What you want to improve? We want to improve the service. Okay. What you want to improve? We want to improve the process. What you want to improve? We want to improve the product. Okay. So it is a systematic process of how we do the improvement. Okay. And in CQI, what we do is we will rely on data. Okay. So any improvement that we plan to do, we will not do based on hearsay. Okay. We will not do based on rumors. So we have to collect data. Okay, we have to collect data, analyze data, interpret data before we do the improvement. So basically, CQI is a systematic process of how we use data, okay, and make decision with regard to improve product, service, or processes. Okay, so that is number one. Next. Now, it also involves identifying areas. Okay, it also involves identifying areas, right, for improvement and making changes to achieve better outcome and efficiency. This is the purpose of doing CQI. Okay, number one, we want to identify which area that we have to improve. Okay, we need to identify which area to improve. So why we want to do the improvement? Because we want to achieve better outcome, better result, efficiency, increase productivity, making customer more happy, reduce the cost, increase our product quality, service quality. So those are the objective of why we carry out improvement. Okay, number one, we need to know which area that we have to improve. Right? So after we know what area to improve, from that improvement, we expect that we can achieve something better. Okay, so it's number two. Now, point number three here is where in CQI, we rely on the data. Right? As I mentioned earlier, to carry out the improvement, we don't base on the rumors. Okay, we don't base on the hearsay. So we have to collect data, analyze data, interpret data, right? So then only we can identify which area that need to be improved. Okay, so data is very crucial when we carry out CQI. Okay, and the next point here is CQI emphasizes a continuous learning mindset. That means that people in the organization who want to carry out improvement, they must have continuous learning mindset. If not, they cannot carry out the continuous improvement, right? Because when we talk about CQI, continual quality improvement, what we do is we want to always improve, right? So the improvement is never-ending process. Okay, the improvement is never-ending process, right? So some people call it CQI is a journey. Okay, continual quality improvement, right, is a journey, not destination. So what is journey? Journey means that we keep on moving. Okay, we keep on moving. That is journey. Same goes to CQI. Even though we have achieved what we target to achieve, and we were not satisfied with the achievement, we will think of how to make what we have achieved become more better. That is actually CQI. That is actually the continuous learning mindset. Okay, now next. Talking about the improvement, generally we can divide into two categories. Okay, so talking about improvement, right? We can divide the improvement into two categories. Okay, one is incremental improvement. Okay, and the other one is breakthrough improvement. Okay, so generally there are two categories. One is incremental improvement. So what is incremental improvement? Incremental improvement is gradual improvement. Instead, we do the improvement bit by bit, little by little, but it is continuous. Okay, example. Now, let's say we detect many defects. Okay, we detect many defects in our product. So we need to overcome. Okay, we need to resolve issue of defect. Okay, and let's say in our process, we are using manual process. Okay, we are using manual process. So when we use manual process, means that we are using human or workers for that process. So as we know that when we use people or worker or human for a process, right? We know that there are limitations to the people, right? So that is where we found the defect. The defect is caused by the worker. Okay, the defect is caused by the worker. So let's say we want to minimize the defect. We want to reduce the defect. So if we decide to use incremental improvement, okay, let's say if we decide to use incremental improvement, what we will do is probably we give more training to the workers. Okay, we give more training to the workers. So hoping that when the worker attend more training, right, the worker can improve knowledge, increase skill, and we hope when the worker, have more knowledge, right, more skill, where the worker may do less mistake. So do less mistake, and then where we can see less defect. That is what we plan. Okay, and this is incremental. We cannot expect when we send worker for more training, we cannot expect that we can remove the defect completely, 100%. Probably it might not happen because it takes time. Okay, so we have to give more time to the workers, right, to do less mistake. So we will see that, yes, there are still defects, but the number of defects is keep on reducing. This is incremental improvement, where we don't see any drastic improvement. Okay, we don't see any drastic improvement. So this is the first category of improvement. Okay, and we call it incremental improvement. Now, another category of improvement is what we call breakthrough improvement. Now, breakthrough improvement is where we want to see drastic improvement. Okay, we want to see drastic improvement, major improvement, and the result is very quickly. Okay, so let's say the same example like I mentioned just now, right? We found many defects, and the defect is coming from manual process. So what we can do is probably we change the manual process to automation, drastic, right? So we have to redesign our production line, right? From manual process to automation, right? So when we use automation, as we know that automation where we have very minimum limitation, or sometimes if the technology is good, right, we can produce product with zero defect. Okay, so this where you can see that the number of defect drop very drastically, okay, very significantly. This is breakthrough improvement. Okay, so basically when we want to decide or we have to decide to do the improvement, we have to decide should we go for incremental improvement or breakthrough improvement. So there are factors that we have to consider. Okay, we have factors. There are factors that we have to consider. Either should we go for incremental or breakthrough. Number one is depend on how serious is the defect. Okay, how serious is the defect or how serious is the problem? If the problem is very serious, right, the defect is very serious, so we need to see result immediately. So probably the best option is breakthrough improvement. Okay, how severe the problem? How severe the defect? Okay, so that's number one. Okay, the severity of the issues or the problem. Second is we have to see also at the cost. Okay, so do we have a budget for the improvement? Okay, so let's say breakthrough improvement, the cost is, let's say, higher than incremental cost. So do we have the budget for the breakthrough improvement? If yes, then probably we can proceed. Okay. Or another factor, probably we have to see what do you call it? What is the nature? Okay, what is the nature of the problem? Right. So some problem nature where incremental improvement is more effective than breakthrough improvement. Some issues, some problem, breakthrough improvement is better than incremental improvement. So all these are among the factors that we have to consider before we decide, right, to carry out incremental improvement or breakthrough improvement. Okay, understand? Is it clear so far?
Clear,
Now,
Doctor.
good, thank you. Now, next is what are the key concepts of CQI? Okay, so basically these are the key concepts of CQI.
Ya, Doktor.
Okay, thank you for the response. So here we see there are 5 key concepts of CQI, right? Number 1 is continuous improvement, definitely, right? So continuous process, right? So it's not a one-time project, right? So CQI is a continuous process, ongoing process, okay? So it is not one-time project, okay? So we have a cycle of constant evaluation and improvement. So we have to evaluate, right, from time to time, or ongoing evaluation and also ongoing improvement. This is the first main concept of CQI. Second is data. Again, talking about improvement, we cannot ignore importance of data, right? So we have to make decision, right, where the decisions are based on data collection, right, and analysis. Number 2. Number 3 is customer focus. So as we know that all company, whatever they do is for the sake of customer. Okay, especially commercial companies, right? Profit-oriented company, right? So whatever they do is not for the company, it's for the customer, right? Because they know that they need customer to ensure their survival. Okay, so whatever improvement, product improvement, service improvement, process improvement is for customer. Is number 3. Number 4 is team involvement. Talking about continuous improvement, right? We have to work in a team. Okay, we cannot work in silo. Okay, we cannot work in silo. We have to work. Then only you can see that the CQI will be carried out effectively and efficiently. And the last but not least, it is a systematic approach. Okay, so we will use a structured methodologies. So how to carry out CQI? We have to use a structured methodology. So this methodology that we will discuss in this topic, okay, PDCA, Lean, benchmarking, right? Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, UCC, as I mentioned earlier, right? All together, there are 9 CQI methodology that will be discussed in this topic. Okay. Now, why company carry out improvement? Okay, why company carry out continuous improvement? Number 1 is definitely to increase product quality. Right? So improvement will not be carried out saja-saja. No. Okay, it's not saja-saja when we carry out continuous improvement. Number 1 is to improve product quality. Okay, because we know that through producing product quality or quality product, quality services, that's where we can attract customer. Okay, so customer always look for quality product, quality services. So that's why we want to improve, right? We want to improve the product quality. Okay, so the more customer buy, the higher our product quality or our service quality, the more customer buy our product. That's where we can conquer the market. Okay, that's where we can ensure good return or high profit. Okay, number one. Number two is to increase efficiency and productivity. Right. So talking about efficiency and productivity, right? The focus is to reduce the cost. Okay. So as we know that when the process is efficient, we can reduce our cost of production. Same goes to the productivity. When we increase our productivity, we can also reduce cost of cost of production. Right. Number one is actually to attract customer. Number two is right to save the cost, to reduce the cost. Okay, so when we carry out the improvement, right, so we will try to make the process better, make the process efficient. Okay, when we say that we improve the process by increasing the efficiency, means that we try to use less resources. Now, talking about efficiency is how good we use the resources. Okay, the less resources that we use, the higher is the efficiency. Or the higher the efficiency, the less is the resources that we use. Okay, so the second reason or the second important why we carry out the improvement, because we want to save the cost. So how to save the cost? We have to improve our efficiency and also to increase our productivity. The more we produce, the less will be our cost. Okay, number two. And number three, to decrease the cost. So decrease the cost or to reduce the cost, actually you can also relate with efficiency and productivity. Number four is to reduce waste. Right? Because waste is something that increase our cost of production. Right? If we produce waste, we are actually increasing our cost of production. Right? So through continuous improvement, we want to contain. Okay, we want to contain, we want to control, we want to minimize waste. So when we contain waste, that's where we can reduce the cost. Okay. Number five is employee satisfaction. Right. So employee satisfaction teamwork is why we carry out the improvement. Probably we want to create a conducive working environment. Okay, not only to the customer, not only to the owner of the company, but also to the employees. Okay, so we do improvement, right? Particularly in the process, particularly in the working environment, right? To make the working environment more conducive. Okay, so when working environment or the workplace, right, conducive, that's where it satisfies the employees to work. Okay, and also teamwork. As we know that when we carry out improvement, right, we cannot do it alone. Okay, we cannot work in silo. As I mentioned earlier in the earlier slide, right, where we have to work in a team. Okay, so this is another reason why CQI is important. And the last but not least is customer satisfaction. Okay, so we do the improvement to make sure that the customer happy with our product, customer happy with our services, right? So it's very important. So basically, these are some of the reasons why CQI is important. Okay. Now, let us start with the first CQI methodology, PDCA. Right, so this is PDCA stands for Plan, Do, Check, and Act. Okay, so basically there are 4 stages. So when we use PDCA, means that the process of improvement will go through 4 stages. Okay, so the first stage is plan. Okay. The second stage is do. The third stage is check. And the last but not least is act. Okay. It is a process, means that we cannot skip. Okay, we cannot skip or we cannot jump. Right? We cannot plan and then suddenly go to check. Cannot. It must follow the flow, right? The process. So we must start with the plan, right? So after we plan, then we proceed with do, and then check, and finally act. Now, what is plan? Now, in this method, PDCA method, right? Plan is a strategy to implement changes and improvement. So what are the activities under plan? Number one, we need to identify what to improve. Okay, we need to know what to improve. Is plan. Okay. Number two, we have to collect data to confirm what we want to improve, right, are supposed to be improved. Okay, let's say we decide to improve on certain process A. Okay, we want to improve process A. We have to collect data to confirm process A is a problematic problem that need to be improved. Okay, so number one, we have to identify what to improve. Number two, we have to collect data. Right? Or the other way around, we can collect data to know which process that we have to improve. Okay, so we need to know what to improve. Probably, usually it will be backed by data to confirm that particular process need to be improved. Okay, so after we know what process to be improved, okay, the next stage or the next activity is where we have to come up with the action plan. We have to propose the solution or the action plan on how to improve the process. Right? So number three, right? We have to find solution or action plan on how to what do you call it? Improve the process, for instance. Now, after we have came up with probably we came up with few action plan, then we have to decide which action plan we will test. Depend, right? If you come up with one action plan, then we will definitely we have to test the action plan if we came up with one action plan. So in case where we have more than one action plan, we have to choose which action plan that we want to test. Okay, so that is what we do, right, at the plan stage. Okay, now after we have decided what action plan that we want to test, okay, then we move on to the next stage. The next stage is do. Do is where we will test the action plan. Okay, right? So changes on the small scale to test them. So this is where we test the action plan, right? That we have decided, right? In the earlier stage, right? Or in the plan stage. Okay, we will test the action plan too. Okay, then we move on to the next stage, check. Now, check is where we will collect data. Okay, we collect data, analyze data, right, to see any improvement. Okay, any improvement after we have implemented the action plan. Okay, this is where we collect data to do evaluation, the effectiveness. Okay, the effectiveness of our action plan that we have tested earlier. Okay, so you see the result. If we found that the problem resolved, okay, the problem that we identified here resolved or reduced, so that shows that the action plan that we have taken is effective, or the action plan that we have tested is effective. So when it is effective, we will standardize. Okay, we will standardize the action plan or the new process in our process. So whatever suggestion that we have tested here, we will practice it. Okay, we will practice and standardize it. Okay, or documented it. Okay, and this is how we use PDCA very systematically. Okay, we start with a plan, we test the action plan, We check whether the action plan is effective or not. If yes, then we standardize, okay, the action plan or implement the action plan, make the action plan as part of the process. Okay, this is how we use PDCA. Okay. Now, in case when we check, okay, we collect data and we found that the problem still exists. Okay, the problem still exists and we don't see any big improvement from the action plan. Okay, no big improvement. That means the action plan is not effective. The action plan is not the best action plan. So what we will do, we will go back to here. Okay, we will go back to the plan. We have to come up with another action plan, right? And then after that, we test the new action plan. Okay, then after we, what do you call it, execute the new action plan, again, we have to take or collect data, right, from the new action plan, okay, to see the effectiveness of the new action plan, right? So if the problem resolved, or we see that the defect is decreased or reduced, so that indicate the action plan is effective, so we can standardize the action plan as our permanent process. Okay, and this is how we use PDCA. Okay, so that's all about first CQI methodology, PDCA. Now, another method, right, of CQI is what we call benchmarking. Okay, so this is another CQI methodology. Okay, benchmarking. Now, what is benchmarking? Benchmarking is a process of comparing something, okay, such as product, service, process, performance, against a standard or the best in industry. Right? So basically, benchmarking is where we are comparing. Okay, we are comparing our performance, actual performance, with the best practice. That is basically what is benchmarking. We are comparing, okay, comparing our actual performance with the best practice. Now, the goal of benchmarking is to identify areas for improvement and adopt best practices. This is benchmarking, right? We want to know what is our actual performance and what is the best practice. Then we compare, right? So if our performance is lower than best practice, that means we need to improve our performance. Okay, example. Now, let's say a bank A, for instance. Okay, so let's say bank A, right, process personal loan, right? I mean, from the submission of the form from the customer until we notify the customer that the loan is approved, it takes 4 days. Let's say bank A, 4 days, right? 4 working days. Okay, so that is the actual performance of this bank A. And then the standard practice in the industry or another bank B, for instance, that bank B is take 2 days, right, to approve a personal loan. So now bank A will compare, oh, we take 4 days, okay, but another bank take 2 days. So that means our performance is lower than best practice because another bank take 2 days only to approve the personal loan. So that means that 2 days is the best practice and our practice is not the best practice, right? So this is where benchmarking comes in. Okay, so now bank A want to improve the performance. What performance in this case? Performance of approving, right, a personal loan, okay, or shortening duration of approving personal loan. That is the goal. Okay, so when bank A realize that they take longer time to approve their personal loan, now they realize something has to be done. Okay, and when they know that something has to be done, right, means that they have to improve the process. And what they target is 2 days, from 4 days to 2 days, right? So how to achieve the 2 days? That's where the bank will adopt the best practice, will learn from the bank that take 2 days to improve the loan. Understand? And this is actually benchmarking, right? So in short, you can say that we are comparing our performance and best practice. If our performance lower than best practice, so probably we have to do something, right, to improve our performance, at least to make our company competitive. If not, our company will not competitive. Okay, so this is benchmarking generally. Okay. Now, benefit of benchmarking. So these are the benefit of benchmarking. Okay. Number one, we can improve performance and efficiency. Definitely. 4 days to 2 days. Right? 4 days to 2 days where we improve our performance. Efficiency again, and why we do benchmarking, because we want to use our resources efficiently. Means that we want to reduce. Okay, we want to reduce the consumption of resources. Imagine 4 days. So 4 days probably we use more resources before we approve the loan. So if we shorten 2 days, we can cut some resources. Okay, that's where we can achieve high efficiency. So this is one of the benefits of benchmarking. Now, the second benefit probably encourage improvement. Again, 4 days to 2 days. So when we want to reduce, right, the duration from 4 days to 2 days, we may see possibility to use new processes. Okay, new processes, new technique, new forms, new system, all these are innovation. Okay, number 2. Number 3, helps set realistic goal. So 2 days is the minimum, more realistic. We cannot aim for 1 day. So not possible. Let's say talking about approval of personal loan. Let's say none of the bank can go more or less than 2 days. Right. So when we know best practice is 2 days, we don't have to waste our time target for 1 day. Definitely we can achieve. Right. So this helps us to set more realistic goal. Means that we know that to approve personal loan, because of the processes, because the document, because of the whatever requirement to approve the loan, right? 1 day is not possible. Minimum is 2 days. So we set for 2 days. So the goal that we set is more realistic. Okay, number 3. Number 4, definitely to increase customer satisfaction. Any improvement to the product, to the service, to the process, at the end of the day, right, we want to satisfy the customer, right? So that's how it enhances customer satisfaction. And number 5 is identify strengths and weaknesses. Again, when we want to improve, we need to know our strength and we need to know our weaknesses. So through benchmarking, somehow or other, we have to know what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses. Right? So that's where it becomes benefit when we use benchmarking. Okay? Question so far? Is it clear? Is it clear?
Clear, Doctor.
Good, thank you for the response. Now, types of benchmarking. So generally, there are 4 types of benchmarking. Okay, generally, there are 4 types of benchmarking. Okay, the first type is competitive benchmarking. Okay, so competitive benchmarking. Now, what is competitive benchmarking? Competitive benchmarking is where we compare our organization performance with direct competitors. Okay, we compare our performance with direct competitors. For instance, bank with bank, right? Bank Islam and Maybank, direct competitors. How they, what do you call it, compare the performance. This is competitive benchmarking. Mars Air Asia, for instance, direct competitor. Okay, direct competitor means that they are serving same customer, okay, same customer, or probably in the same geographical area. Okay, direct competitor, right? Contoh macam Maybank and Bank Islam, right? So they are competing to get the same customer, okay, because they are serving, they're offering services in the same geographical area, right? Ataupun itu direct competitor, right? Tapi kalau Maybank and one bank in Indonesia, different what you call it, different geographical area, different group of customer, this is not considered competitive benchmarking because they are not direct competitor. Okay, so this is competitive benchmarking. Now, another benchmarking is what we call internal benchmarking, right? So from the term itself, you can guess it is about within the same company or within the same organization. Okay, so we compare practices and performance between, right, between different department, unit, team within the same organization. Yeah, for instance, like we compare performance between Dungun, Kedah, right, Kedah, Puncak Alam, right, Puncak Alam, Johor, Johor, Kelantan. These are what we call internal benchmarking. Okay, we are comparing practices and performance, right? Different department, different unit, different branches, different team, but within the same organization. This is internal benchmarking. Now, another type of benchmarking is functional benchmarking. Okay, so in this benchmarking, we compare similar function or process with those of organization that are not direct competitors. Okay, not means that we compare similar function, similar process with those of organization that are not direct competitors. Okay, for instance, like we benchmark hospital and hotel. They are not direct competitor in terms of customer. Okay, let's say you want to benchmark, let's say check-in process. Okay, check-in process, hospital and hotel, both are about check-in. Okay, so because of they are not serving the same customer, so they are not direct competitors. So this is what I call functional benchmarking. Or that I give an example just now, right? Bank in Malaysia and bank in Indonesia, right? So let's say they want to benchmark in terms of processing personal loan. Okay, so bank in Malaysia, Maybank, and one bank in Indonesia. So they are not direct competitor, even though the same process, which is about a process of approving personal loan, but they are not serving the same customer. And in terms of geographical area, also different. So they are not or non-direct competitors. Okay, and this is how we carry out functional benchmarking. Now, another type of benchmarking is what we call generic benchmarking. Okay. Now, generic benchmarking is where we compare operation or processes that are similar in nature regardless of industry. Right? So we compare any process, any operation, but the process and operation are similar in nature, but different industry. Okay, for instance, given here is we study inventory management technique used by top logistic companies. Right? This is generic benchmark. Okay, next. Reason why company carry out benchmarking or why company use benchmarking. Okay, why company use benchmarking? The first reason probably to identify the gaps. Like just now, right? The performance of the bank A is 4 days. Another bank is 2 days. Right? So this is the gap. And this shows that bank A is underperforming. Okay, number one. Number two is to drive continuous improvement. So when we know that our bank, like bank A just now, underperforming, that's where it drive bank A, right, to do the improvement. Okay, to do the improvement. Okay, and it also can create culture of ongoing improvement. Okay, number two. Number three is to learn from the industry leaders to adopt best practices like just now. Best practices 2 days, our practice is 4 days. So we can learn from industry leaders, okay, to make our performance better. Another reason is to set realistic performance target like just now, right? 2 days minimum. Nobody can go less than 2 days. So target that we put is 2 days is realistic, so that we don't have to waste resources, right, to achieve 1 day. Okay, that is number 4. Number 5 is improve efficiency and reduce the cost. Okay, and then enhance customer satisfaction. Okay, and the last but not least is for competitive advantage. So these are basically the reason, okay, why company engage benchmark. Okay. Now next step. So how to carry out benchmarking? Okay, just now we have seen reason, right, benefit and whatnot. Now we need to know how to carry out benchmarking. Okay. Now the first step is we have to know what to benchmark. Okay, we need to know what to benchmark, right? Like my example earlier, okay, we want to benchmark, right, process of approving personal loan, right, or personal loan approval process. Okay, personal loan approval process. That is what we want to benchmark. Okay. After we know what to benchmark, and we have to define the objective. So our objective is to reduce the duration of approving this personal loan from 4 days to 2 days. This is the objective. Okay. Now, after we know what to benchmark, we know what we want to achieve from benchmark, then we need to identify the benchmarking partners. Definitely, right? Example just now, we need to benchmark with the bank that use or take 2 days to approve the personal loan. Okay, we need to identify the benchmarking partner. Then after we know or identify the benchmarking partner, we have to collect data because we need to know the practices of the organization. Okay, we need to collect data. Then after we collect data, then we have to analyze data. Okay, analyze data to know what are the best practices. Okay, the system, the process, the technique, the forms. So whatever used by Bank B just now, where with all the system process in Bank B, where Bank B take 2 days to approve personal loan. We want to learn from Bank B. So we need to collect data, analyze data, right? So we need to understand the data because you need to suit, we have to match, we have to adapt the practice in the practice of Bank B. Okay, we want to bring into our bank, Bank A, for instance. So that's why we need to analyze that. We have to analyze data, understand data, and then see how we want to adapt. Okay, how we want to adapt the practices of Bank B into our bank or Bank A. Okay, and then that's where we have to come up with the action plan. Okay, what should be done? Okay, and after that we implement the improvement. Okay, then after that we need to monitor. So all these are the steps to carry out benchmarking. Okay, so that's all about benchmarking. Now, another method of CQI is BPR. Okay, business process re-engineering. Now, what is BPR or business process re-engineering? It is a strategic approach that organizations use to improve efficiency and effectiveness by fundamentally rethinking and redesigning their core business process. Okay, so basically BPR is where we we use to improve organization effectiveness and efficiency. Okay, how? By taking drastic improvement. Okay, so this is drastic improvement. So BPR is an approach, right, taken by organization to improve the efficiency and effectiveness through drastic improvement. Okay, drastic improvement. So the goal is to achieve dramatic improvement in critical performance measures such as cost, quality, and cost, quality, service, speed, and etc. Right? This is like I mentioned earlier. Right? For instance, like we want to contain defect. Okay, we want to contain defect. So we want to see immediate effect. Okay, immediate effect. So that's why we have to take drastic action. Okay, that drastic action is actually BPR. Okay, for instance, like we change the process from manual process to automation. Okay, and this is BPR. Now, the key concept of BPR is fundamental rethinking. Right? So, fundamental rethinking is we have to ask ourselves, start questioning. Okay, start questioning the very basic question: how work is done? Okay, for instance, like why do we do what we do? Okay, we ask question like why do we do what we do? For instance, like our example just now, why do we use manual process? Why do we use manual process? That is fundamental rethinking. Very basic question that we ask ourselves. Why do we use manual process? Right? And another question is, why do we do it the way we do? Right? Why we use the manual process? Our competitors have migrated to automation, but we still continue with manual process. This is fundamental rethinking. Okay? Now, the second key concept or important concept of BPR is radical redesign. Right? So radical redesign is where it is radical changes. Okay, it is a radical changes, not slow changes. Okay, not slow changes. It is not about altering or modifying. It is not about modifying or altering current processes. It is about completely reinventing the process. Okay, means that like manual process just now, completely change. Okay, completely change. This is radical redesign. So we redesign with the process. We take out the manual process. We put automation. This is radical redesign. Okay, and then dramatic improvement. Okay, you want to see a big improvement. Okay, not small improvement, big improvement. Means that defect, we don't want to see defect anymore. We aim for zero defect. From Probably previously defect is 10%, 20%, 30%, quite high, 30%. So when we do the improvement through BPR, we want to aim for 0%, for instance. Right? Something that very significant changes. Okay, this is dramatic improvement. Another key concept of BPR is process-oriented. Emphasize improving entire process that extend multiple departments rather than just optimizing individual tasks or function. Means that we don't focus in one process. Okay, what we do is improving the entire process. Okay, the entire process, not focus to one small process. Right, talking about manual process just now, it's not about that particular process. We also have to consider the entire process. Okay, and this is process oriented. Okay, so those are key concept of BPR. Okay. Now, next, how to carry out BPR? Okay, how to carry out BPR, business process reengineering. Now, the first step is we need to identify processes to re-engineer. Okay, we need to identify the processes to re-engineer. Okay, focus on processes that are critical to customer satisfaction or strategic goals. Okay, like just now, that one process, the manual process, is very important, crucial to customer satisfaction because our defect is high. Because our defect high, it delay our delivery to the customer, and some of our product are defect product, right, where we fail to detect at our place, and customer accept that defect product, and that defect is serious defect, right? Customer very unhappy. All those are what we call it, shows that the process is critical. Okay. So after we identify processes, the process to re-engineer, then we analyze existing process, understand how the current process works, and identify inefficiencies and bottleneck. So once we identify the process, then we have to analyze the existing process. Okay, so that is number 2. Number 3, we design new process, right? Create new process that eliminate unnecessary steps, automate the task, all right, or align anything that we do to improve the process. Okay, we design the new process. Then we implement the new process. Okay, and finally, make sure you monitor the new process. So these are the steps of how we use BPR. Okay, now reason why people use BPR or why companies use BPR. Number 1 is to improve efficiency, right? To improve efficiency, number 1. Again, talking about efficiency, we want to reduce consumption of resources. Okay. Number 2, cost reduction. We want to reduce the cost. Okay. Number 3, you want to increase or enhance customer service, right? So to deliver faster, more accurate, more personalized service. Okay, so this is another reason why companies use BPR, right? Number 4 is to make use of technology. Okay, leverage technology is another reason why we use BPR, right? Improve quality, right? All these are very common. I think the 244 students should be familiar with all these terms, right? Especially semester 5, right? I believe that all of you came across all the terms that has been highlighted in the lecture today. Okay, and adapting market changes, right? So these are the reasons why company use BPR. Okay, question so far? No?
No, Doctor.
Need a break? Should we have a break? No need.
No need, Doctor.
Okay, good. Okay, so that's all about BPR. Right? Another method is lean. Right? So lean is another CQI method. Okay, now what is lean? Lean is a philosophy and set of techniques focused on maximizing value. Okay, so lean is a philosophy and set of techniques focused on maximizing value to the customer by eliminating waste and optimizing processes. Right? So when we talk about lean, okay, it is about how we want to contain, how we want to control, how we want to eliminate waste. Okay, so this is the main objective of using lean methodology. Okay, so we want to contain waste so that we can increase a value to our product or our services or our processes. Right? So lean, right? Lean is actually to increase the value at the same time eliminating waste. Okay. Now talking about waste, right? There are two categories of waste. Okay. No, I will explain this later. Okay, in the following slide or in the next slide, we have about 8 types of waste. Okay. Now, lean is about improving efficiency, right? Reducing costs, delivering high quality product by identifying, right, and eliminating non-value added activities. Okay, by eliminating non-value added activities. Now, these non-value added activities are called waste. Right? So non-value added activity, right, or non-value added activities are considered waste. Okay. So lean is originated from TPS, okay, and now is widely used in many industries. Right? If you think that lean is only for manufacturing sector, so that belief is wrong. Okay, we cannot see that lean is just for manufacturing company. No. Okay, it is applicable to all industry. Okay, it can be used in manufacturing industry, right? It can be used in service industry, right? There are many industries where we can use lean. So there is no excuse that, let's say, certain industry that they claim they don't use lean because of lean is not suitable for their industry. So that claim is actually wrong. Okay, so lean is applicable in all industries. Okay. Now, the principle of lean. Okay. So if you want to use lean, you have to make sure that we practice this principle. Okay, to implement lean in the company, right? So these are the principles must be practiced. Now, the first principle is value. Okay, so value is we have to define what is valuable from the customer perspective. Focus only on activities that add values. Okay, now in lean, we have to define the value. Now, what is value? Value is something valuable from the customer perspective, not from the producer perspective. Okay, so value should be defined from customer perspective, not producer perspective. Is number one. Okay, for instance, like if the customer define value value is the customer has to get the service in 1 hour. So that 1 hour is the value. Okay, the one hour is the value, and that 1 hour is set by the customer from the view of the customer, not the producer. So if the customer define 1 hour is the value, we have to work towards get 1 hour. Currently, let's say we are providing the service in 2 hours. Okay, so 1 hour late than what customer expect. So customer will value our service if we can deliver in 1 hour. So what we have to do is we have to improve our services from 2 hours to 1 hour, because value to the customer is 1 hour, not 2 hours. Okay, and we cannot say that we have improved from 2 hours to 1 hour 40 minutes. So we have improved 40 minutes. That is not important. Okay, what more important is 1 hour, because that is what customer want. 1 hour, that is value. So in Lean, we have to define value, and the definition of value should come from perspective of customer. Okay, that is the first principle of Lean. Second principle is value stream. Okay, second principle is value stream. Okay, so value stream is where you have to map all steps in the process. Okay, we have to map all steps in the process, or what we call value stream, to identify and eliminate waste. It means that we have to map all the processes. So when we map all the processes, we can easily identify. Okay, we can easily identify waste and eliminate waste. Okay, when we map all the processes, so we can easily see, identify, detect waste. Okay, then easy for us to remove the waste. Number 2. Number 3 is a flow. What is flow? Flow is where we ensure, right? Flow is where we ensure that value creating step occur in smooth, uninterrupted sequence. Okay, we have to make sure there is a smooth flow. Okay, ensure that value creating step, okay, occur and smooth. So whatever value adding step should be, or we should make sure that all value creating process, right? Value creating steps are smooth, no interruption. Okay, number 3 is flow. Number 4, pool. Pool is where we produce only what is needed and when it is needed. Or in other words, we produce based on customer demand. Okay, if the customer don't demand, we don't produce. So whatever production based on customer demand, right? Pool system. And the last but not least is perfection. Okay, another principle of Lean is perfection. Continuously improve process to eliminate waste and enhance value. So these are the principles of Lean. Okay, next. Waste. This is what I mentioned earlier. Talking about waste, there are 8 types of waste. Okay, there are 8 types of waste. The first waste is defect. Definitely, when we produce defect, we are producing waste. Okay, when we produce defect, we are producing waste. Okay, so what is defect? Defects are product or services that do not meet customer requirement. Okay, move on. Second waste is overproduction. Right, so overproduction is where we produce more than what is needed to meet customer demand. Overproduction. Customer demand 1,000, we produce 1,500, extra of 500. So this extra 500 is a waste, overproduction. Why overproduction? Why it is waste? Because probably we cannot sell. We have produced Okay, there are costs in it. Okay, there are costs in producing the product. Because of the customer don't order, they don't buy. When they don't buy, we cannot sell. So when we cannot sell, we have used the resources to produce the product. So probably we have to scrap, waste, or we have to sell at discounted price. Again, right? It's waste. We are supposed to collect back, recover the cost of producing. We have to recover the cost plus some margin for the product because of we cannot sell. We sell at discounted price, right? So that is a loss actually. It's a waste. Okay. Waiting is also waste. Okay, time spent waiting for material, process, and information. Okay, waste. And then non-utilized talent is a waste. Okay, where we don't or we underutilize skill and knowledge of our employees. Okay, is also considered waste. Transport unnecessary movement is a waste. Right, inventory, holding or keeping extra amount of material or product also waste. Okay. Motion, unnecessary movement, people, equipment, waste, and extra processing also waste. So all these are 7 types of waste. Okay. So what we need to do, right? We have to monitor. Right? Company must monitor and contain the waste. Okay. Now, talking about waste, generally I see there are 2 categories of waste. Okay, there are 2 categories of waste. One is so-called necessary waste. Okay, and the other one is pure waste. Okay, necessary waste and pure waste. Now, for necessary waste, we cannot completely eliminate because we need that process, even though it is a waste, but we need the process to complete the whole process. Okay, so what we can do for these necessary waste is we try to minimize. Okay, we try to minimize. And the other one is pure waste. Now, pure waste we can eliminate, and we must eliminate. Okay, give you all example. Now, let's say when in the clinic, okay, in the clinic, a patient, now in the clinic, when the patient visit the clinic, right, and then the patient need to register. So after register, wait to be called, right, wait to be called to see the doctor, right? So first registration, first process. After registration, the patient has to wait before see the doctor. And then the next process is where the patient see the doctor, okay, and the doctor diagnose the patient, okay, diagnose the patient. So after the doctor diagnose the patient, and then the doctor probably write on the prepare report, okay, prepare report, make some comment, right, about his or her diagnose the patient and what medicine probably he prescribed, okay, and he write on the probably patient record, okay, and then patient leave the doctor room, wait again, right, to be given the medicine. Okay, so basically these are the processes to get a treatment from a clinic. Now, from these processes, if you notice, right, there are 2 types of waste there. Okay, one is necessary waste, and also you can see is pure waste. Okay. Now, if you see the slide of waste, let's say waiting. Okay, in the case of clinic, just now waiting, right? So if we see here, waiting is waste. Okay, so in the context of a case like clinic just now, we cannot avoid waiting. Okay, we cannot avoid waiting. So even though waiting is a waste, that's why we call it necessary waste. Okay, necessary waste, which is we cannot completely avoid. Somehow or other, we have to wait for our turn. Okay, wait. So waiting here in this context is is necessary. Is necessary waste. Okay, to complete the whole process. Okay, so what we can do here in this context, right? The clinic must find ways on how to reduce the waiting time. Okay, so when the clinic reduce the waiting time, okay, reduce the waiting time, so that's where the clinic, what do you call it, uh, uh, what do you call it, reduce, okay, reduce waste. Okay, then another activity is where the doctor diagnose. Okay, so the doctor diagnose patient, prescribe patient. That is value added activity. It's not waste. Registration is can be registration is a must, right? So probably registration is a value added activity. Okay, registration is value added activity. So one, it is value added activity. It is not a waste. Okay, waiting is waste, right? So because waiting will not add value to the service. Okay, so waiting is non-value added, is a waste. And then the doctor diagnose. Okay, the doctor diagnose and prescribe medicine to the patient. That is value added activity, not a waste. Okay, and then the doctor record whatever diagnose, all right, he carry out and medicine that he prescribed. Okay, so this is probably value added because it is important in the process. Okay, okay, and then let's say after that, after the doctor write on the what they call it, patient record, and then let's say another clerk or clerk in I mean the staff in the clinic transfer. Okay, transfer whatever information written on the patient card into the system. Okay, now we have two. Right? The doctor has written the diagnose, okay, and the information of treatment, okay, and also probably the medicine. And then after that, the staff will key in all the what do you call it, report of the doctors into the system. Okay, and then what do you call it, patient wait again, right, to get the medicine, and then the staff give the medicine to the patient. So give the medicine to the patient, probably what do you call it, is a value added activity, is not a waste. So in this process, you see that waiting is a waste. Okay, waiting is a waste where should be minimized, eliminate, cannot eliminate. Okay, and then another activity is like just now, the doctor has written the report on the patient card, and suddenly the staff need to transfer the report into the system. This is what we call it, the redundant. This is what we call unnecessary process. Okay, so now one task, but you do 2 times. This is waste. Okay, where doctor has written the report on the patient card. Okay, and then after that, you let the staff to key in whatever report that has been written by the doctor on the patient card into the system. Okay, and this is extra processing, right? And this is what we call pure waste. Okay, pure waste. So pure waste, as I mentioned earlier, where we must eliminate. Okay, so we have to decide whether you want to eliminate the process of doctor write manually on the patient record. You want to eliminate that activity. Instead, the doctor the doctor directly, okay, the doctor directly key in the report in the system. Okay. Or what you do is you stop at the doctor update the report on the patient card. Okay, and the staff don't need to transfer the report into the system. You eliminate this. Choose either one because these two processes are redundant. Why they are redundant? Because you do the same task twice. Okay, this is example of pure waste. Okay, so that's why when we talk about waste, we have to be careful. We have to aware. Okay, we have to aware that there are two types of waste, right? Or not types lah. There are two categories of waste. Okay, the two categories of waste. You have to know whether the waste is necessary or the waste is pure waste, right? So necessary we cannot escape. What we can do, we can minimize. Okay, we can control and minimize. However, for pure waste, we must eliminate. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear?
Clear, Doctor.
Tak ada ayat free lah belanja ayat ni.
Yes, Doctor.
Organizer tak ada ayat free ke ni? I'm just kidding lah. Okay. What is next? What is next? You all still can see my slide, isn't it?
Yes, Doctor, can.
Yes,
Yes.
Doctor.
Okay, so these slides shows the lean tool and technique, right? So how to implement lean, right? So these are the tools. Okay, we can use 5S, Kaizen, right? Kanban, VSM or value stream mapping, just in time and proprietary. Okay. Benefit of lean. Okay, benefit of lean is where it can reduce the cost definitely and waste, improve quality, customer satisfaction, right? Improve delivery time, right? Higher employee engagement. Right? So lean again, CQI as when we begin the lecture just now, right? I mentioned about importance of people involvement, teamwork, right? So that's why when we implement lean, okay, you will see that high people involvement or engagement. And also when we use lean, we can see a greater flexibility and responsiveness, right? So these are the benefit of lean. Now, even though we see many benefits that we get from lean, but people still have misconception about lean. Okay, even though there are many benefits, the benefits are proven, and yet people still have misconception about lean. Okay, now the first misconception is they thought lean just about cutting the cost. That's all. Okay, so this is the first misconception of lean, right? Where people believe or they think that lean is just about cutting the cost. But right, when we talk about lean, yes, we admit lean can reduce the cost. But what more important when we discuss about lean or we practice lean is this. Okay, we want to maximize, okay, value by eliminating waste and improving process. Right? Lean is not just about reducing the cost. Okay, we can get more than reducing the cost. Okay, this is the first misconception of lean. Another misconception is some people see that lean is suitable for manufacturing. Okay, and they think that lean is not suitable for other industry, for other industry. Okay, so they just, because most of the studies in the past, okay, most of the studies in the past or at the early stage of study of lean, right, were conducted in manufacturing setting. Okay, right, so that's why other industries, service industry particularly, they don't think that they don't mean they see that lean is probably suitable for manufacturing setting, okay, not for service setting. Another misconception is lean means less jobs. Okay, lean means less job. Okay, this is another misconception. Number 4 is lean is one-time project. Also wrong perception. Okay, but right, lean is a continuous effort, ongoing effort. 5, lean work only in large organization, right? Because they look lean, like very exclusive. Okay, so they say lean they have perception of lean is exclusive CQI methodology. That's why they see that lean is work in large organization, not small organization. All right, lean also effective to be used in small organization. Right? Another misconception is lean is the same as Six Sigma. This is another misconception. Okay, so lean is the same as Six Sigma. Right? Another misconception is lean requires big investment. Okay, all right. As we know that lean does not require big investment, because the focus of lean is not on buying new technology. It's not investing in new technology. Okay, it's not investing in expensive equipment. No, that is not how we use lean. Okay, we use lean to control the waste. Even though with small project, right? Small project, but if the project can contain the cost, why not? We use that project as a lean project, right? So not necessarily we have to allocate high budget when we want to practice lean in the organization. Okay. So in lean, right, we also discuss about these 3 concepts, okay, what we call Mura, Muri, and Muda, Mura, and Muri. Okay, so these are interconnected concepts in lean, okay, and also known as 3Ms. Now, Muda is actually a waste. Okay, Muda is a waste. But remember, waste is non-value added activities. Any process, any activities, any step, anything does not add value or do not add value. Okay, do not add value to the product, to the services are considered waste. Okay, and Mura is unevenness, inconsistency, right? Irregularity, right? Unbalanced workload, so on. Those are unevenness. And Muri is overburden. Okay. Now, how they are interconnected? Usually the Mura will lead to Usually the Muri will lead to Mura, and Mura will cause a Muda. Okay. Usually it starts with Muri. Muri is overburden. So it starts with the Mura. Okay. Usually it starts with Mura. Then Mura will lead to Muri, and eventually Muri end up with mudah. Okay, so what is mudah? Murah unevenness, right? Means that we give, let's say we assign tasks. Okay, we assign tasks to the workers, uh, uh, not balanced. Okay, employee A, we give 10 tasks. Employee B, we give 5 tasks. That is in terms of uneven assignment of tasks. 10 tasks, 5 tasks, time given still 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour, employee A has to complete 10 tasks, employee B has to complete 5 tasks, uneven. Time is the same. Now, when you assign the task unevenly, right, to 2 different workers, you are actually overburdening employee A. Okay, because 10 tasks need to be completed in 1 hour, which is time is not enough. 1 hour is not enough. So you are overburdened. When we overburden employee A, there is possibility, right, or probability where employee A will do more mistake, right? Because he work in pressure. Okay, he work in pressure to complete the task in 1 hour. But right, logically, cannot complete 10 tasks in 1 hour. So you are pushing unnecessary pressure, a burden to employee. So as a result, he commit many mistakes, right? He do many mistakes. So when he do mistake, that's where, right, he produce defect. The defect is coming from the mistake done by employee, right? So this is how you explain, right, the connect, the what do you call, the relationship between murah muri and mudah. Okay, so that's all about lean. Okay, that's about lean. Now another methodology is Six Sigma. Okay, Six Sigma. Now, what is Six Sigma? Six Sigma is a set of methodologies and tools used to improve business processes by reducing defect, error, minimizing variation, and increasing quality and efficiency. Right? So basically, Six Sigma is where we want to improve. We want to improve process capability. Okay, we want to improve process capability. Okay, so basically when we explain about Six Sigma or when we use Six Sigma, we try to improve our process capability, right? So how to improve our process capability? We are actually try to reduce variation in the process. Okay, so what we do here in Six Sigma, we contain variation, minimize the variation. So when we minimize the variation, that's where, or that's how we improve that's how we improve our process capability. So when our process capability good or excellent, that's where we can produce high quality product, quality services. So it starts from how we contain variation in the process. Okay, when we contain, right, reduce or minimize variation in the process, so the process capability increase. Okay, so when we achieve high process capability, right, so this will lead to high quality product or high quality services. Okay, so this is Six Sigma. So Six Sigma, what we do is we try to contain variation in the process. Okay, so the goal of Six Sigma is to achieve a level of quality that is nearly perfect. Okay, nearly perfect. Okay, it is about 3.4 defect of 1 million opportunities. So what we do is we keep on improving the process, keep on removing variation in the process, eliminating variation in the process until the process achieve 99.99997% of capability. right? So when the process achieve almost perfect but not completely perfect, right? You can see 3.4 defect of 1 million output. Okay, now this is Six Sigma. So these are the Six Sigma philosophy. Okay, so these are the Six Sigma philosophy. So we have customer satisfaction. Okay, we have customer satisfaction is the first, definitely. When we discuss about quality, we cannot ignore, right? We cannot run away from discussing on the customer. Okay. So the first philosophy of Six Sigma is customer focus. Right? Again, data-driven decision. We have to use data, right, before we do the improvement. And then third philosophy is process improvement, continuously refining processes to reduce variation and waste. Right? So we have to continuously refining the process, improving the process, right, to reduce or to contain, eliminate variation and waste. Number 4 is proactive management. Instead, we have to prevent problem before they occur. Okay, and number 5 is collaboration. Collaboration means that teamwork. Okay, so to use Six Sigma, we have to work in a team. Right, so these are the Six Sigma role, right? So we have executive leadership, champions, right? Master, black belt, right? Green belt. It is like Taekwondo, right? These are the role, right, of people in Six Sigma program or Six Sigma project. Okay, so they use what do you call it? The term like term used in Taekwondo, right? So detail you can see in this slide. So we have executive leadership. So what are their role? Then champion, who are the champion? These are their role. Master, black belt, who are they? Black belt, right? Green belt, yellow belt, and the lowest people who involved in Six Sigma is white belt. So white belt are those have basic understanding on Six Sigma. Okay. Benefit of Six Sigma, right? So these are the benefit. Again, improve quality, customer satisfaction, reduce cost and waste, right? Increase efficiency, productivity, right? Better decision making and throughout the better decision making through data. So these are the benefit of Six Sigma, right? I think I want to stop here, right? It's about 3:50. I want to give opportunity for you in case some of you have question or need further clarification, right? And probably some of you need to go to class at 4 o'clock, right? Or you want to have a closing, some last word from your lecturer probably, right? Is it okay if I stop here, the organizer?
Yes, Doctor. It's okay.
Okay, so I pass over to the MC.
Alright. Terima kasih Dr. Jamaludin di atas perkongsian ilmu berkenaan Continual Quality Improvement yang disampaikan. Jika para pelajar ada soalan yang ingin ditanyakan kepada penceramah, anda dibenarkan untuk membuka mikrofon atau boleh tuliskan soalan anda di ruangan komen. Saya akan bacakan.
MC, cuba tengok juga dekat YouTube. Takut ada orang tanya dekat YouTube.
Okay, baik, Madam. nampaknya kita ada soalan daripada Doktor.
Ya.
Kita ada satu soalan daripada Muhammad Adib Ashraf, iaitu if multinational company is centralized decision making, how can they conduct continual quality improvement based on region? Silakan Dr.
Again. I cannot hear clearly your question, Amirul.
Alright. If multinational company is centralized decision making,
Centralized making, okay.
how can they conduct continual quality improvement based on region?
Multinational corporation, centralized.
Yes, centralized decision making. Doctor.
Centralized, and then they want to what?
Uh,
Do CQI.
They want to conduct continual quality improvement based on region.
Based on region. So now first they have to decide what method of CQI they want to use. Okay, because we have seen just now, right? Basically, what we learn in this subject, right? There are 9 methods of CQI. Okay, so they have to decide. Okay, they have to decide which CQI method they want to use for the improvement. Okay, if they want to use lean, probably they can do it internally, because lean is where you look your own process, isn't it? So it's lean, right? So I mean region, okay, means that you don't have to collaborate probably with see if the process is just within your own control. Okay, the process within your own control. If you decide to use lean, right, I don't see any difficulty to do it, right, by using lean. Okay. Otherwise, if you want to use benchmarking, right? So benchmarking, again, you have to see what you want to improve. But just now when I explained about benchmarking, let's say the competitive benchmarking where you have to compare with direct competitor, right? So when you need to compare your performance with direct competitor and your company is centralized company, as we know that centralized company where decisions are made at the HQ, right? All decisions made at HQ. So if you are regional office, and definitely you have to get approval from your HQ before you do benchmarking with any company, and that company probably your direct competitor, because when you benchmark with direct competitor, there are issue of sensitivity, right? Issue of sensitivity, because we are direct competitor, we are selling the product or the services to the same customer in the same geographical area. So when we're direct competitors, definitely we will not share the best practices of our company with our competitors, right? So that's where we need to get approval from HQ. Other than that, if you use Six Sigma, you have to see what the process that you want to improve is within your control or outside your control. Within your control, you probably just inform, right? You have to inform HQ that you want to do this improvement for this process, what method that we use, right? Because this is centralized organization. Okay, I think that's my response to the question. Any other question?
Yes. Soalan seterusnya daripada platform YouTube. Iaitu daripada saudara Ikwan. For SME, which method should be prioritized first if they want to implement continuous improvement in their business?
Okay, again, as I mentioned earlier, all right, you have to see there are many factors that that you have to consider before you decide on any method. Okay, right? For instance, like I mentioned earlier, you have to see the severity of the problem. How severe is the problem? Okay, how severe is the problem? Number two, you have to see how immediate you want to see the effect of the improvement. Okay, and you cannot say that this method suitable for SME, this method suitable for large organization. Actually, all the method, I think, to me personally, believe that it is applicable to any size of the organization, regardless you're a big organization, small organization, medium organization, right? So, what more importantly is you have to adjust. Okay, you have to adjust the method with your organization. Okay, some people see that like Six Sigma is difficult. Not so difficult because you know what is actually Six Sigma. Okay, so to me, size of the organization not a big issue. Okay, for the company to choose the CQI methodology. Okay.
All right. So next question is, in your opinion, Doctor, what are the best way to address the misconception that benchmarking is merely copying or plagiarism, and how can we instill a correct understanding of this concept within organization?
All right. Okay. Plagiarism. Benchmarking is plagiarism. Now, that's why you see when we talk about benchmarking, we don't have one type of benchmarking. Okay, we have generally, like what I mentioned earlier, we have 4 types of benchmarking, right? So let's say if you benchmark within your own company, not a big issue, right? Like Kedah, UiTM Kedah benchmark with Dungun. We are in the same organization, right? So we have to have what do you call it, something very noble to do. Right? Benchmarking is where to achieve something noble, to do something noble to me, right? Sharing of your good practices, and yet you are not direct competitors. Okay, Dungun and Kedah. Okay, we compare. Let's say Dungun and Kedah. We know that Dungun do something good, and then we also do good. So Dungun get benefit from the best practices. Kedah also get best practices, right? I mean, use the best practices, and then both campuses probably bring up, improve the NIM or UiTM as a whole. Okay, that is where we use internal benchmarking. For let's say general benchmarking, where we benchmark with non-direct competitor. Okay, for instance, like you benchmark hospital and hotel. Okay, hospital and hotel. They are catering to different customers. Okay, so if both organizations have a big heart, hati yang bagus, noble heart, where they share the best practices, even though they don't get benefit, but the society as a whole get the benefit. Hospital, hotel. Okay, let's say a hospital want to improve the registration process or check-in process. And we know that this one hotel has a very good check-in process, very efficient check-in process, right? So they are not compete, they are not selling the same service. So this hotel should be proud when they share the best practices to the hospital. Why? Because with these practices, the hotel with these best practices in this hotel help the hospital to improve the check-in process. And who get the benefit? The society as a whole get the benefit. Understand? So I don't see any issue of plagiarism. Okay, but if the direct competitor, probably we may encounter problems. Okay, let's say you want to benchmark Mars and AirAsia. Definitely not that easy lah, because their competitor, they are selling the same service and they are selling, they are sharing the same customer and they are selling the service in the same location. So that's why we have options. Okay, we have option. And to me personally, if you see the benefit is for the society as a whole, there's no issue of plagiarism. Okay, I do hope I answer your question.
Yes, Doctor. I understand. Next question is from Nurul Batrisha binti Shafi'i. This question is, if a CQI project failed to improve outcomes, what should the team do next, Doctor?
CQI fail to achieve the objective of the CQI project. Kalau dia tak achieve, something wrong with, there are many possible factors that cause the failure. I see there are many possible factors. Number one is where probably your data is not correct data. Okay, probably as you know that I always stress the importance of data. Right? So why the CQI project or program fail? Probably because of you identify the wrong problems. Okay, you identify the wrong problems. You collect wrong data. Right? Another possible reason is you collect wrong data. Number three, probably because of you wrongly analyze data, wrongly interpret data, or probably you came up with the wrong action plan. Okay, so those are possible factors where make your CQI project fail. So you have to review, you have to look back where the mistake happened. Okay, where the mistake happened, and take necessary action to rectify the mistake. Because I believe any CQI project, okay, any CQI project should lead to positive outcome. Should lead to positive outcome. Why? Because if you see in all the CQI method, right, it is a systematic way. Okay, it is a very systematic way, right, to do the improvement. Right. So if we do what they call it correctly, it should lead to positive outcome. Okay. Okay, any other question? What time's up?
Yes, Doctor. Last question. When organization push for continual quality improvement, such as conduct the principle of zero defects and do the right thing at the first, does it affect the well-being of the employee?
Tak clear lah, Zamiro. Your question is not clear. Putus-putus.
Sorry. Saya ulang. When organization push for continual quality improvement, such as conduct the principle of zero defect and do the right thing at the first, but does it affect the well-being of the employee?
Zero defect.
Yes, Doctor.
Affect the
Dia memberi
well-being
kesan ke kepada
well-being
pekerja?
of the employees. Now, it is how you do it. Okay, it is how you do it. Because as we know that when you want to aim for zero defect, it sounds like very stressful. isn't it? Because you don't allow any single defect, right? Zero defect is you don't allow any single defect, right? So very stressful, very stressful. But you must know that when you do it correctly, because people are, that is the achievement. Okay, zero defect is achievement. So if you can, you can convince, okay, you can convince the people, zero defect is our achievement, not organization achievement only, but everybody achievement, right? So you must make sure that you have a good plan, okay, and then take care of the well-being, the charity of the employees, okay, maintain their motivation, maintain their satisfaction. I believe that there is no negative impact to the employees' well-being. Now, this is proven if you can relate with a case of Hawthorne studies, right? If you learn OB, organizational behavior, Hawthorne studies, right? There are two groups of workers, right? So one group of worker where they have a good lighting, right? Sufficient lighting. Another group is less lighting. Okay, and the researcher found that even though the group that receive less lighting, they still can maintain high productivity. Why? Because of the human factor. Okay, the supervisor would have relationship with the employees, even though the environment is not conducive to work, but the employee still can maintain high productivity. Okay, so it's proven. If you take care of your well-being, you know to maintain the satisfaction, motivation of the people, right? Extra pressure, I think, is manageable. Okay, do I answer your question? I do hope that my answer your question. Okay.
All right, Doctor. Thank you. I think that's all the question for today. Okay. Terima kasih kepada Dr. Jamaludin serta para pelajar atas soalan dan jawapan sebentar tadi. Akhir sekali adalah sesi bergambar. Jadi diminta semua hadirin untuk membuka kamera bagi sesi bergambar. Jangan risau, kami akan berikan sedikit masa kepada anda untuk bersedia. Baiklah, saya rasa semua orang dah bersedia. Okey. Dalam kiraan 1, 2, 3, senyum. Okey. Nak informal ke? Nak ada yang informal? Okey. Okey, informal. Semua. Okey, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okey. Baik, terima kasih semua. Bunga seroja di atas para, jatuh ditimpa buah berangan. Andai kata tersilap bicara, kemaafan jua kami pohonkan. Saya Muhammad Zamirul Izwan Zaki, wakil daripada pihak penganjur, ingin menyusun 10 jari andai terdapat kekurangan daripada pihak kami semasa program berlangsung. Terima kasih tak terhingga diucapkan kepada penceramah Dr. Jamaludin Akbar di atas kesudian menjadi penceramah bagi program Guest Lecture Continual Quality Improvement. Tidak lupa juga kepada para pensyarah dan para pelajar yang bersama-sama kami sepanjang majlis berlangsung. Terima kasih kami ucapkan. Pensyarah dan pelajar boleh mengisi pautan kaedah yang telah disediakan di ruangan komen dan di hadapan. Untuk pengetahuan hadirin sekalian, sidil akan diemailkan dalam tempoh 5 hari bekerja kepada email masing-masing.
Terima kasih Dr. Jamal. Jangan serik Jangan serik Dr. Jamal.
Saya pun nak ucap terima kasih Dr. Jamal. I was your student 22 years ago.
Dr. Jamal tak buka mic.
Tak buka mic Doktor.
Siapa dia yang 22 tahun ni? Muslimah?
Muslimah.
Di mana tu? Masa tu? Dungun. Sekarang mengajar di mana?
Dungun juga.
Okey, congratulations. Maksud dia saya semakin tua lah now.
Saya pun dah tua juga Doktor. Thank you Doktor.
Okey,
Really
okey.
inspired me.
Terima kasih banyak Doktor. Saya Ruzaida.
Okey, Dato' Rosaidah.
Ya,
Kita WhatsApp tapi tak jumpa orang kan?
Ya, macam mana?
Kita ada WhatsApp saja tapi tak pernah tengok orang kan?
Itulah, tak apalah. Terima kasih
Saya tengok,
Doktor.
saya tengok ada mesej Dr. Irwan tadi dah, tak ada baca lagi.
Itulah dia, saya tanya dia bila dia nak buat, pukul berapa dia nak buat yang pertemuan bersama, taklimat bersama RP tu, dia tak jawab lagi lah setakat